For daily Ask Reddit. r/Ask Reddit. Lawyers of Reddit. Has any client ever made you go, how the duck am I supposed to defend you? And if so, how did it go? If you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. I had to try to defend a man who walked into a convenience store with a knife demanding money. He wore no masks, just his casual clothes, and walked through every aisle before he robbed it, being spotted by every security camera in the store. After the robbery, he ran back to the hotel he was staying at, also carrying an open backpack full of money, being seen by the hotel's security cameras in the process. He then went into his room, threw the bag on the floor, and hid under a bed until police arrived. I spent a long night thinking about it before passing the case to somebody else, because I have no idea how to defend someone who has so much evidence against them. At a deposition, it's the questioning lawyer's responsibility to ask the right questions to get the info he or she is after, and the lawyer has to be thorough and methodical. If they neglect to ask about something, that's their problem. Those defending the witness always tell the witness not to volunteer information and to just respond to the questioning lawyer's questions. Again, don't volunteer. I had a witness come in and we went through the whole preparation meeting where I gave her all the instructions and told her not to volunteer. Again, don't volunteer. I ask if she's reviewed anything to prepare. Nope. So that's good. You have to disclose things you've reviewed. We go through the deposition and she does fine. Questioning lawyer is done. He's packing up his stuff. The court reporter is packing up her stuff. And the lawyer is walking toward the door. Witness says, "Did you want to see this?" and pulls out a stack of books that no one had ever asked about, she hadn't told me about, and which contained stuff that the other side was able to use ducking Dumbus. I'm a criminal defense guy, so I have had plenty. Most infuriating one was a guy that got busted for selling rocks to a confidential informant. The CIA was wired for sound and video, so the whole transaction is crystal clear. Plus the cop cited his car as the one that drove up the scene, and he was stopped a couple of hours later with the buy money in his possession. Serial numbers were recorded. He had 3 prior convictions for cocaine sales. The prosecutor offered him 5, which was the mandatory minimum. He absolutely declined to even consider a plea, insisted on a jury trial, insisted on taking the stand, and telling a ridiculous story about how it wasn't him in the video. There wasn't any doubt. I felt like Lionel Hutz trying to string together a closing argument with a straight face. He got 20 years. I've told this story here before, but it's a good one. My friend's mom was a defense lawyer for a hospital. Her job was to represent doctors accused of malpractice or anything relating to doctor/patient interaction. I forget all of the details, but she had one case where a female patient had accused a male doctor of assault. The claim was that the doctor groped the patient several times during a procedure. Allegedly, the doctor had been coached to say that during a routine procedure. It's possible that he had inadvertently brushed up against the patient's chest, and that if it happened, it was an unintentional consequence of following standard procedures. So they get to the deposition, and I guess the first question the doctor gets is something along the lines of, "Walk me through what happened." And the doctor says, "I don't know what you want me to say, man. I'm a tit guy. Always have been." They settled. The client who said they didn't speak English, so we had to get an interpreter. When asked questions, the client kept answering in English and the interpreter would have to stop and ask again, and then answer in the language. Long, confusing deposition to say the least. The client spoke better English than anything. All I can think of is I saw this guy on the TV, Dutch, who was accused of possession of firearms. He didn't have an attorney as he didn't want one. His reason? He didn't need an attorney because what he was doing was actually legal. The judge asked him if he was sure. He said he was. Then he was convicted. That was pretty much it. I'm like 99% sure that the story I'm about to type out didn't actually happen, but your post reminded me of it, so I'm sharing. Allegedly there was a guy on trial for armed robbery, and his argument was that he wasn't armed. The prosecutor had testimony from the store clerk saying that there was a bulge in the pocket of his jacket that, in the clerk's eyes, looked like a gun. The defendant asked this jacket and this bulge, indicating the jacket he was wearing. And the witness nodded. Then the defendant pulled a 5 kilogram brick of cocaine out of the jacket pocket to prove that it wasn't a weapon. Judge had to call a 5-minute recess due to laughing too hard. As a PD, pretty much every single client that wants to take their case to trial and is completely delusional about how strong their defense is. I don't know if it's drugs, narcissism, mental illness, but so many just are in complete denial. Even when you show them the whole thing on video, they don't understand that a witness saying what they saw happened is evidence, despite telling me they are being railroaded with no evidence. Especially with strictly ability type offenses like driving under suspension. And don't get that I was only driving 3 miles to do X and those cops just wait outside my trailer park waiting for me because they know my car isn't a defense. I went to a meeting where an older couple, 80s, sent their life saving to a Nigerian prince, 2009, who was going to triple their money and send it back. They sent money in 2 installments. Grand total was around 40k, and it was obviously stolen. They wanted to know every option they had to get it back, and the answer was simple: none. There's nothing you can do to get your money back. I've never seen 2 people so mentally broken. They were retired and no longer had access to money in any way. I excused myself from the meeting by faking a call and started crying in the bathroom. I couldn't handle it.